Hello everyone, and welcome to my The Bold Fans channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Spoilers for B&B. Deacon needs a lawyer, not a therapist. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Deacon Sharp is struggling with his divorce, and Taylor Hayes isn't making things any easier. Instead of seeing a therapist, Deacon ought to be slipping out to see a lawyer. The Il Giardino owner's divorce with Sheila Carter is reportedly going to cost him far more than he anticipates. B&B spoilers indicate that Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes will continue their romance. The couple believes that Deacon can leave Sheila and simply ride off into the sunset with his therapist, despite Steffy Forrester's fruitless attempts. Viewers of Bold and the Beautiful are aware that Sheila Carter will never allow such to occur. B&B spoilers. Deacon's most expensive divorce. Despite the fact that we are all aware of the former villain's abilities, Sheila has been known to shoot, kidnap, hold captives, stalk, and more over the years. However, she is also quite smart. Sheila might choose to attack her soon-to-be ex-husband where it hurts instead of going to jail for shooting Taylor Hayes. Next week, spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful hint that Steffy is out to protect her mother from Sheila. However, Hope Logan and Deke Sharp ought to begin considering their options for saving their father. He could lose everything to his soon-to-be ex-wife. We are aware that Deacon Sharp borrowed a significant sum of money from investors in order to purchase Il Giardino and restart it following the serial murderer scandal. How would Deacon tell his investors that Sheila snatched the restaurant during the divorce, and that he doesn't have any money to reimburse them? B&B spoilers. Sheila's not getting mad. She's getting even. Although everyone fears Sheila would harm Taylor, Sheila has changed. If she hired a lawyer and stole everything from him, wouldn't it make more sense? Do you believe there will be more unpleasant aspects to Deacon and Sheila's divorce? Is it possible for her to take Il Giardino from him? With a possible new love interest for R.J. Forrester, B&B maintains the family. B&B appears to be taking a kissing cousins approach. Maybe it was stupid to think that RJ wouldn't become attracted to his cousin, much like his brother Thomas did in The Bold and the Beautiful. Unfortunately, history is repeating itself, this time between Electra Forrester and Ridge's namesake. Important takeaways. The relationship between RJ and Electra. Speculation about Ivy's potential input. What will could think about this? Though they don't share a bloodline, RJ and Electra are cousins. B&B isn't afraid of taboo romances when it comes to possible love stories. Additionally, the soap doesn't necessarily view them as troublesome. For example, Electra's initial impression of RJ was just as romantic as her first impression of Will. The two young Forresters were immediately attracted to each other, and Ridge introduced his son as the protagonist of a timeless love tale. It wouldn't be a problem if they had a coincidental last name. The Forresters, however, have a tendency to be selective about the relevance of their family tree to love opportunities. In this instance, RJ and Electra put in a lot of effort to prove that they are cousins by name rather than blood. Electra is RJ's third cousin on his grandfather Eric's side because she is Ivy's niece. Despite being a Forrester, Ridge's bloodline follows the Marone family tree because he is Massimo's biological son. Consequently, there is no blood connection between RJ and Electra. Before their first scene together, they had also never met. They weren't reared together and don't share childhood memories because the two managed to miss each other as they grew up. Despite their attempts to deny it, they are still cousins, and this isn't the first time B&B has chosen to go the kissing cousins route. Ivy and Thomas 2.0 for the next generation. Years ago, Ivy became attracted to Thomas after her romance with Liam ended because of Steffy's return to the area. They moved from calling each other cousins to meeting in secret at the Forrester mansion at night. Despite being in a relationship with Wyatt, she continued to cheat on him with Thomas. Ivy is all too familiar with falling for a Forrester man's charms, while in a committed relationship with a Spencer. She has previously expressed her thoughts about Electra's romantic situation, so it's possible that she will do so once more. If the attraction did take fire, it's unclear if she would support Electra in resolving her emotions rather than suppressing them. Ivy has supported Will and Electra's relationship, but during Luna's pregnancy, she started to have negative feelings about him. Electra was making a lot of sacrifices to be with him, which worried her. Electra had planned to support Will while he adjusted to being a young father before Luna miscarried and died. This would have eventually required accompanying him on his parental journey, which would have been a significant life transition. Ivy asked her to consider the implications of that decision because they are in their early 20s. They have moved past the chaos of that period, but it's uncertain if Ivy's perception of Will has improved. Ivy didn't hold him accountable for his attack, but she did believe that, given that it was Electra's first time, he ought to have told her what had happened before deciding to have sex with her. Ivy's perception of their relationship was damaged by his choice to keep the truth from her niece. She might believe that Electra should consider all of her alternatives before placing all of her eggs in Will's basket, even if that means searching for love inside the family. A Will-Electra/RJ triangle could be coming in the B&B episode on Monday, January 19th. RJ and Electra spent time together in the Forrester salon. The cousins discussed Electra's boyfriend, Will, in between complimenting her skills as a jeweler and pointing out how little they actually knew one another. RJ told Electra that they are related through their mothers, Brooke and Katie, but he didn't mislead him. In other words, even though RJ didn't mention it, they are cousins. RJ pursued Luna Nozawa, a relationship wound, while Electra merely praised Will. The soap opera might not mention that she is RJ's ex. The consequences of Luna's actions on Electra and Will could continue to be the main emphasis. RJ claimed to have been informed of the incident, but he was curious about Electra's thoughts. Despite their lack of familiarity, she might confide in RJ. In their first scene, he did say that her heart is secure with him. However, doing so would unintentionally harm her and Will's relationship. He's right outside the salon door, but the Forrester couple doesn't know it. He will be able to hear both her and RJ's response, which is probably not going to be favorable to him. It appears that Electra might be the impetus for the rivalry between the two to worsen. Electra and RJ have only been in a few scenes, but their arrangement does look sweet. How transparent Electra is with RJ may decide whether that develops into a triangle where she deviates from Will. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. Finn is prepared to help his mother, but Sheila has no idea. According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, John Finn Finnegan never needs to visit Il Giardino because doing so gives him the chance to see his mother. Deacon Sharp's pizza isn't contentious, so viewers aren't shocked that Finn takes that chance and wants his father-in-law's delicious pizza, which will soon be returned by Spencer Publications. Every time any of the dough treats are shown or served at his restaurant, which recently had another lovely makeover, many viewers' mouths moisten. Deacon's devoted wife, Sheila Carter Sharp, has never cheated on him. However, she did conceal the fact that Finn's daughter was still alive last summer, which severely damaged Deacon's confidence. Lisa Yamada got her Emmy because she had numerous outstanding performances over her incredible run, even though Luna Nozawa's angle was perhaps weak. She also worked on a fantastic plot. Its impact is further enhanced by its complexity, which reverberates after Luna's passing. But it was a stretch to have Deacon get unduly upset about Sheila concealing Luna's presence. He had the option to ignore the plausible situation that Brown's character was placed in, but he chose not to. However, the audience believed that what emerged was essential, which might lead to dispute and ultimately a split. After briefly leaving Sheila, Deacon came back because Taylor Hayes, his new romantic interest, persuaded him to stay. Deacon and Taylor may not end up dating, but Taylor Hayes is resisting the inevitable. Steffi Forrester Finnegan's legitimate badgering might deter her. However, if the narrative line involving Taylor getting dumped by Rich Forrester and Deacon consulting her on Sheila isn't going to be carried out, why spend months developing it? So far, Taylor has been the voice of moderation. However, the attraction to Deacon and the yearning look he gives seem unavoidable. If that occurs, fans can also see some of the future. John Finn Finnegan can help his mother. Finn can't tell Sheila what's going on at this point in the story. Therefore, his unwelcome conversation with her at Il Giardino won't result in the inevitable explosion of their marriage in Los Angeles, California. The drama will intensify with Finn's arrival in the story. While balancing Steffi's want for him to stay out of Sheila's life, he will be able to act as his birth mother's shoulder to weep on. Deacon is not thinking about his security and welfare. Additionally, he doesn't care what Sheila might do to Taylor. Rather, he's falling in love or into an improbable situation that seems to carry a huge danger. Sheila must be able to control herself if Deacon and Taylor are to avoid a disastrous outcome. This is more likely than it has been in a long time. However, the shock of discovering that Taylor had violated her confidence would likely result in an outdated Sheila. When classes resumed, her husband and presumed buddy Taylor would receive harsh punishment. Electra and RJ are interrupted when Steffi warns of disaster. While Will Spencer interrupts Electra and RJ Forrester, Steffi Forrester Finnegan will warn Hope Logan Spencer of impending catastrophe. RJ has been conversing with Electra and learning more about her in the Forrester showroom. RJ brought up the situation surrounding Luna Nozawa and questioned Electra's genuine feelings after learning that she was seeing Will. Will may wait while Electra confides in RJ, as he is now observing and listening in close proximity. Electra may acknowledge that dealing with Luna was difficult, but she emerged from it stronger with Will. Naturally, RJ might question whether Electra would be content with a less complicated person who didn't have all the Luna baggage. Will might interrupt and put on a performance for RJ before the talk can continue. In order for RJ to know exactly where things stand between them, it's easy to envision Will getting close to Electra or even making out with her. In any event, B&B spoilers indicate that RJ and Will's rivalry will begin as they may make a few barely disguised digs at one another. The sons of Bill Spencer and Rich Forrester will intensify the animosity that already exists between Will and RJ because of their conflicting fathers. This is particularly true now that RJ has a serious crush on Electra. Steffi will continue to be concerned about the relationship between Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes, so she will discuss her worries with Hope during their strategy meeting. Steffi will have another opportunity to emphasize how risky it is for Deacon to become too close to Taylor while he is married to the insane Sheila Sharp. Steffi will once more urge Hope to assist her in intervening after pointing out how disastrous the result might be. While Steffi chooses to visit Taylor's workplace and reiterate that she can't continue to bond with Deacon, Hope will finally go over to Deacon's apartment. Stay in for updates on all the drama, as spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that Deacon and Taylor's connection may result in some concerning news in the next episodes. Spoilers for B&B. Where's the money coming from? Unexpected inflow after Deke was fired to assist Dylan? Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful pose the urgent question that people are thinking about. After firing Deke Sharp, is it unfair for Steffi Forrester Finnegan to employ Dylan? When they were unable to pay Deke, why is there now money for Dylan? Deke Sharp was pursuing a job. Deke had attended design school and was making a lot of effort to pursue a job in fashion. When Deke anonymously presented his portfolio, everyone was highly impressed with his designs. Deke obviously needs a main designer. Deke clearly has potential, but if he does, he needs a mentor. Deke was unable to stay on the team after Thomas Forrester returned to Forrester Creations. Rather, Hope Logan Spencer was compelled to let Deke know that Forrester Creations could no longer employ him, citing financial difficulties as the reason for his termination. Thomas Forrester and Zen Forrester took over. Hope's complaints have been dismissed because no one at Forrester seems to care. Thomas and Zen Forrester Dominguez insisted she could manage Hope for the future's resurrection. Once more, Steffi brought up payroll and the fact that Deke's employment at Forrester Creations was inadequate. When it comes to Electra Forrester's theory that Dylan needs a job right away because she has been sleeping in her car, Steffi Forrester is singing a different song. Steffi is adamant on talking to Rich Forrester and getting his approval. Dylan becomes a Forrester employee by hiring Dylan. Steffi is defying everything they said about not requiring an employee that they cannot afford. What is Dylan expected to do at Forrester Creations because she has no prior expertise in the fashion industry? In any case, Forrester has plenty of models, and Dylan doesn't exactly seem like model material. Steffi wants to assist a friend who is in need, but why should this buddy come before someone who already works for Forrester and has a degree in the field? Deke at Logan was, of course, part of B&B's original intention. Was it appropriate to fire Deke before hiring Dylan? Now, while firing her brother and hiring a new employee, Steffi is pressuring Hope to work with her in order to keep their parents apart. Hope and Steffi will undoubtedly have an issue with this in the near future. 3 stunning, bold, and the beautiful must-see moments for the week of January 19th to 23rd according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful. There are 3 things to watch during the week of January 19th, 2026. Supporters can anticipate that John Finn Finnegan will conceal something from Sheila Carter Sharp. Taylor Hayes succumbs to her emotions. Dylan also has a strong desire to pay Will Spencer back. John Finnegan's deception. Let's begin with Finn. As fans may remember, Steffi Forrester Finnegan confided in her husband last week. The brunette described what she observed and heard between Deacon Sharp and Taylor. Finn offered to talk to him even though at first he didn't believe it. Deacon is not present when Finn arrives to Il Giardino. However, Sheila believes Taylor saved her marriage. Finn tries to stay away from his biological mother later in the week, while everyone tries to hide Deacon's treachery. This brings us to our next must-see moment. Taylor Hayes gives in. Deacon and Taylor will keep going to their treatment appointments. Deacon softly strokes Taylor's hair in a sneak peek. She's not shoving him away this time. Dylan's desperate repayment. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Dylan will have a scene with Will by himself the week of January 19th. The two are in the beach house's living room. Dylan can't stop talking about how wonderful and considerate Will has been to her. Little girl, remember Electra Forrester? Will simply gives a silly smile and doesn't appear suspicious at all. Since Electra isn't present, she must be occupied with RJ Forrester. Dylan will ensure Electra that she is not pursuing Will later this week. Electra must therefore have cause to become skeptical once more. What to expect? Eric Forrester has offered to serve as Katie Logan Spencer's principal designer. But Eric and Katie have decided to keep it a secret. Donna Logan Forrester is aware, but she will make an effort to persuade Katie to be honest with Brooke Logan Forrester. At some point, Donna must choose a side while attempting to maintain harmony between her rival sisters. Will Eric's assistance make Katie's new endeavor successful? What impact will this have on Eric's relationships with Ridge Forrester and Brooke? According to Eric Forrester's Rage Katie, Eric was initially pushed to leave by Ridge. Donna is aware, but if Eric were employed by Bill Spencer, Ridge would lose it. It's time for Eric to lose it. The individual claims that FC pushed him aside when he ought to have made the decision to resign. The more he considers it, the more angry he becomes. He is not going to be ignored. Ridge and Brooke will learn a very hard lesson about respecting their elders, Eric promises. Will Spencer's request in the office will express his gratitude to Ridge for allowing him to attend a meeting. The young man is making an effort to learn as much as he can about the industry. Will doesn't want Katie to cause any conflict. Ridge claims it was inappropriate to take the name. Will says he's committed to FC. Although Ridge doesn't like Bill, he is happy that Will isn't like him at all. Brooke comes in, Will goes out. He is informed by Brooke that Eric is at Katie's place of employment. Ridge is not surprised by this. The dressman doesn't seem to understand why Eric was there. Ridge is certain that the situation cannot possibly worsen. RJ Forrester's remark. Electra exclaims in the showroom, how happy everyone is that RJ is at last home. The fact that they have never met is amusing. She is thrilled to finally get to know RJ because their families have never met. While the antagonistic interns spy on them, they talk about RJ's travels. RJ is referred to by Electra as the golden child. RJ is eager to get home to Los Angeles. Electra discusses her boyfriend. Will and RJ attended different schools, but they had met a few times. They talk about Luna Nozawa. The interns are chatting about RJ and Electra in the meantime. If RJ spends all of his time with Electra, he won't be enjoyable. Will cuts them off and asks what they were talking about. Will hears Electra and RJ discussing Luna as he makes his way to the showroom.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.